Find your light. It's the first thing I think every time I'm doing a video. I want you to know that. From me to you, find your light. I'm Bevin. I'm so excited to welcome you back to my vlog from the forest floor. I'm just gonna use my tripod to just show you. I hike a blue tarp into the forest every day in case I want to lay down. And that's how it started. And then now I do like yoga on the forest floor, which I'll say a tarp is not a great yoga mat on a hard surface like a house, but like on the nice squishy like forest floor, which by the way, like soil turns out is just like dead stuff from the forest, just like decomposing all in itself with all this mycelium, like all these mushrooms just in here helping us munch up dirt and turn it into something that can nourish and create life in something else. I watched the movie Fantastic Fungi. It's a documentary. You can get it. You can rent it on Amazon. I kind of want to buy it, but I haven't yet because I'm like very, if you listen to my podcast, you know, I spent like the last 6 months of 2020 really working on getting on a budget. And so now I'm really working on like prioritizing my spending, and I'm not at the point where I'm buying movies on Amazon. But Fantastic Fungi is worth the buy if that's in your life, because I learned so much about life from mushrooms. And I think mushrooms as a thing, as an existence, as a not plant and a not animal, I think mushrooms have so much to teach us. We are in this like interconnected age of Aquarius where it's all about connection, where we have it's the information age, literally. Like I am recording this, I will go use special satellites to send it into information spaces, and then YouTube is just gonna host it, and then poof, you get to watch it wherever you are and however you get that delivery. Isn't the internet amazing? So the mycelium network works like that. It just sends information from trees like to other plants, and like trees learn so much. And apparently like when you dance in the forest, this is something I learned after I danced in the forest. When you start doing a thing, your friends send you articles, right? Like I don't watch the news. I got cyberbullied last week, by the way, because I declared I don't watch the news. And I get plenty of information. Like I am tapped into so many people. I talk to so many people. I intentionally go into information streams like Instagram, and I curate who I learn from. I don't even want to call it following. Like if you have a list of 10 people that you're like, I need to hit these people, like absolutely these top 3, if I have no time in the day, I want to learn from these. They're all women right now. So I want to learn from these women, right? Like poof, 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 right? These 3. Get a top 3, and then I have a top 10. And then if I want to scroll, it's mostly astrology stuff. Like I've learned so much about astrology in these times, but also because in my information streams, I follow a lot of people who post things that are relevant to my study of astrology and learning more about the giant celestial clock that we are all in. The sun, the moon, the stars, they're constantly moving around and telling the time and kind of affecting our emotions pretty profoundly. And kind of inspired by all of that, I want to talk politics. I'm officially resigning from the Democratic Party. I'm a registered Democrat, and I have been very proudly since I was 18 years old and able to register to vote. I just missed the 1996 presidential election. I didn't turn 18 until a few months after that, and I had really wanted Bill Clinton to win. And then like almost immediately after that, the Defense of Marriage Act came out, and that was legally preventing same-sex couples from getting married. And I'm saying all of that, and I want you to hear the air quotes when I say that, because same-sex is like, what even is gender? Right? Like, just look around you. There are trans folks everywhere. There are non-binary people everywhere. There is so much going on with gender. So the fact that like this was like a really big thing in 1996, same-sex marriage, and now like poof, we get this. It's interesting watching cannabis come through, because if they just made it federally legal, so many resources could go somewhere else. And here's why I'm quitting the Democratic Party. I think they are a party built on failure. They have failed to win the popular vote like 3 times in my adult life, but didn't change the Electoral College. It's the second Joe Biden got into office, it was just a body count to me. Like, I'm just like, oh, you're letting all those kids freeze to death in those detention centers in Texas, which to me, I'm just like, I don't see how these are different than internment camps. I've been to immigration detention when I was in law school. I was really interested in being an immigration lawyer. My mom was an undocumented immigrant. My grandmother really fucked them over. 4 kids, didn't document any of them. Went in, got social security cards, and then just, you go, I mean, they're paying taxes, right? But Not documented. Anyway, mom got through under amnesty under Ronald Reagan in 1987. I remember just like all this sea of documents around her. Just like, and my mom had vocally not liked Reagan. I remember that. I remember a Pointer Sisters album that we used to play a lot in the living room. Changed my life. I love the Pointer Sisters. Bless them. Whenever Automatic by the Pointer Sisters comes on, it's just like a dream come true, whatever's happening. Anyway, so my mom like had to prove that she had been in the country every year that she had been, which was since like 1962, I think. Long time. So like 20 something years of documentation, like trying to like paper your life. Anyway, I just think immigration, I genuinely believe that everyone should be welcome here. I think this is a country built on immigrants who wanted a better, bigger life. And it is also a country built on literal genocide. Like they just came in. I mean, I've been watching Outlander and just watching like how just they come in with their guns and other people don't have guns and they just like kill them until they give them everything they have, right? The earth gives us everything for free. She just wants us to protect her and nourish her. We have everything we need to create a renewable economy, an economy based on renewable resources. We have it. We have that technology. And they keep talking about the Green New Deal, but nothing's happening, right? Like I'll believe it when I see it, but here's how I think America should run. I really believe it should be based in a 12-party system. This 2-party system doesn't work. Basically, America is 3 corporations wearing a trench coat. I learned that on Instagram, and that was better than the news. Also, Trevor Noah. I like Trevor Noah, right? Like, I also will watch a live from AOC. I learn a lot from her. I really appreciate her and her perspective, and I've, I just love the way she talks about trauma. Definitely go back and watch the live where she talks about the storming of the Capitol, which by the way was only like 3 months ago. It feels like 88 lifetimes keep happening every time. Like I have this like playlist that I run every year, every period of my life. I like keep a playlist. I've been doing it yearly. It's been an annual thing now, but it used to be like I would do it for a season. But basically I just catalog all the songs that just like pop to me or that like I come across that I want to know or like whatever, right? And like the only song that could run through my head during the election and during that January 6th siege of the Capitol was this Ani DeFranco song. I'm very queer. This Ani DeFranco song. I mean, like, and what even is queer, right? I feel like I've gotten queerer during the pandemic. Like, as gender becomes more of like just a universe, an idea. You've got a man planet, a woman planet, and then like everywhere else you could be. Jeffrey Marsh talks about the surge of like she/they pronoun folks who are like really exploring beyond like the planet they were assigned at birth, right? My friend Mags uses assigned human at birth, and that's really all we are. We're exploring what it means to be human. I'm exploring what it's like to be Bevin in the world. You're exploring what it's like to be you. Only you can be you, right? And like, I was talking to my friend Felicia last night, and she said, she's like, I just like figure I have to do what I'm here to do, and that hasn't been done yet. And I was like, exactly. That's the whole thing. Like, you're just kind of making up who you are based on like what you're here to bring, and everyone's here to bring something unique. I think one of the most sacred and important things I do as an aerobics instructor is I tell people every class there's only one of you in all of infinity, and if you don't do you don't get done, right? So human diversity is just like a mandate. If you just step back and look at life empirically instead of through the lens of like media and news and like celebrities and like whoever, right? Like we have this culture that's obsessed with celebrity and not wisdom. And if you focus on celebrity and you let the algorithm run your attention, who knows how you're going to be. But if you get intentional about who you want to learn from and how you want to be and like figure out like, I mean, the people that I intentionally like go to on Instagram every day during my little news walk where I'm like, what's going on in the world? Oh, more horrifying mass shootings, 45 in the last month. Wow. We had so few for a while when people couldn't walk around. And also the COVID cases keep going up. And then also people are just like masklessly running free. I don't know. I just feel like everyone deserves to live. And I'm vaccinated. I'll say, well, I'm one part vaccinated. My second shot is on 4/27. I'll be fully vaxxed plus 2 weeks the week after Mother's Day. My mom is planning all of these trips in May, and I feel very complicated, but like it's all vaccinated people, and so like I don't know, it's just all the science with the droplets in the nose, and like the fact that the cases are still going up and there's mutant strains. All of the things. These are the things I think about. But what I like to do when I start worrying and going into tangents is come up with 5 good things that are possible. And here's what I think is possible for America. So if we're focusing on actual human diversity, right? Like America by design, like this version, right? I guess our present Constitution, 1776, right? Remember that Alexander Hamilton and all of those guys, they didn't even like each other, and they figured out how to create unity and harmony so that they could plot the revolution, build a government that was sustainable, and create what is our present day economy, which, like, you know what? I kind of love my country. I think James Baldwin said, I'm going to butcher this, but said, I love my country, so I reserve the right to criticize it. And here I am providing a solution. So I think that we see in astrology, in the zodiac, the 12 signs, and they create actual harmony, right? Like that's the full spread of human personality can be described through the zodiac. That's 12 signs. So I think actual human diversity in the United States of America as it exists, 12 parties. And then it's a consensus government. So like, I think the presidency is a place that we really need to revise because it is very real. It's a very real possibility that Kim Kardashian could run and win the American presidency. And I am not saying she is not capable of running the government, but I am saying that the only way that we are going to turn this disastrous airplane around, like I feel like we're in Lost, and we have to figure out how to like solve the puzzle and get the right future on board, right? Like, so we have so many futures ahead of us. If you go to my podcast, I think it's episode 83. It's me and my friend Mags. We are talking about the potential for humanity. What are we doing? Are we going extinct or are we not? And I think if we can create a harmonious road ahead, we can actually do something. I propose the Republic of the United States of America to just give it a new branding, fresh branding. It's still the United States of America, but it's new because we're not going to have 50 states anymore. We need to give statehood to every single not state, territory or province or whatever you're going to call our colonized lands, right? Like they get to have statehood if they want. And you know what's good about that? This will we need more diversity in our government so that we are actually representing diversity. So if we do a council format, like imagine the president is like a figurehead, but really everything's run by a council of 12 who has to agree unanimously. Maybe not dissimilar to the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court as it exists, I think has been entirely hijacked by deep conservatives who have agendas that are pretty much about wealth hoarding for a few and morality policing and the upholding of white supremacy, because that's what this country was based on. Abolishing all police and prisons. I'm going to just say this. I don't like to talk about people too much, but Design Mom is one of those like Mormon mom bloggers that I have loved from afar for a long time. I'm not really that into design. I like cute stuff and I like aesthetic, I'll say that. But never, like my friend who was an interior designer was totally into Design Mom. Design Mom came out. Mormon mom came out. You have to abolish the police. That's a neutral perspective. And I loved it. I loved that. No nonsense. This is a neutral perspective. I talk about it on episode. I'm going to link to it below. It's that important. We're going to link to it below in the YouTube video. But it's like in the episode 40s, it's June 2020. I talked to my friend Sonia, who has been doing prison abolition and police abolition work for a very long time. It kind of explains the basics of the movement, why that's being asked for, and how we center the understanding of that from Black women's leadership who've been talking about abolition for a long time. I do also propose that Angela Davis be our first president. We just install Angela Davis and then we figure out what are the 12 parties going to be. Everybody gets to figure out what they want. I don't even know. Do we dissolve statehood? Does statehood even make sense? Or here's another idea. We could also fracture the United States into different things. Like I talked to someone from Texas just the other day. This is not a lie. Was talking about secession for Texas. And I was like, you know what? When I lived in California for the second time, I moved away from California when I was 21 years old. I moved to New Jersey, sight unseen. and Camden, New Jersey, sight unseen, for law school. And I never thought I would move back to California. I was like, California is falling into the ocean. Arnold Schwarzenegger out of nowhere had like they ousted Gray Davis as governor for some weird, I never understood the reason. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor. And then like, there was that, nuclear stuff that happened in Japan that like ended up in the Bay Area, and all the wildfires started really bad. Like, California not doing too great, a lot of budget stuff. And so I was like, you know what, being a California expatriate, that's going to be great for me for my whole life. And then I had a partner who like really wanted to move to LA and lobbied, and then basically bought me out of my law career. I like was like, oh, I have this gig where I can work like 10 hours a week. It's not too bad. I live in New York. I have a rent stabilized apartment. I had a really comfortable life in New York. It was very scary to leap and move back to California. And then while I was there, I was like, maybe California needs to be a different state along with Oregon and Washington, just like these Western states. I don't know. America, is it a failed state? We have this is another internet meme I'm quoting, but we have a 4-week trial for murder that everyone saw on TV. This is a weird time in the United States, but I am very proud and sending a lot of love to Minnesota, specifically Minneapolis, home of the revolution. Who knew that Minneapolis would spark the revolution? Prince did. He knew. Prince Rogers Nelson. Can't be our president because he is dead, and I think they have to be alive. Anyway, love you all. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you know you matter. You're alive in 2021 for a reason. Hang in there. This is a super weird time because it's Aries season, so it's full of fire. You want to start stuff, but also super uncertain time because it's still a pandemic. It's not over just because you're over it. CDC still says no non-essential travel. Like, I've seen a lot of non-essential travel. I'm not judging though. One thing I've really learned in this pandemic is how precious the resources in my brain are, and if I release judgment of other people or even having a judgment, it gives me so much freedom, and I would rather have my peace than worry about what other people are doing. So I'm still here, isolated in the woods, sitting on the floor, talking with all of you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a good one. Bye.